I was scrolling through TikTok earlier today just to gain some wisdom and inspiration, and I came across this woman who said something along the lines of if you want to change your reality, the quickest way you can do that is by moving abroad and living in another country. And she gave several reasons as to why this works, and I'm a living testament to it. I I can quite literally say that my life really took a turn for the best when I decided to finally take a solo trip to Mexico City. And this was back in 2021. I literally lost everything, as I know most people did, for many reasons. But the universe literally said, "You have nothing holding you back, therefore, it's time for you to branch out and to go explore," because it had been calling on my heart for so long. And if you've been following my journey and my channel, you know that I'm very much about answering your heart centered calls. Those things and those voices and those desires that have been pulling and tugging on your heart for quite some time. So I answered the call. And what happened next was my car got struck by lightning. I know it's so random, but when I tell you the universe said, "We're going to make sure nothing holds you back," they meant it. And so at this point, I'm in the US and my car gets struck by lightning. I had already sold everything that I owned, got rid of my apartment. Mind you, this was during the the plan, you know. I won't even say the full word, but this was during that time where there was so much uncertainty, and I know a lot of people were struggling with this, including myself. And so I closed down my business, sold everything I owned. My car got struck by lightning, so I didn't have a car holding me back. Let my apartment go, and I left. I booked a ticket to Mexico City for 1 month. No return flight. Just going on a whim. I had never been out of the country solo at this point. I had been out of the country just on family trips and such, but never solo. And so this was everything. It was huge for me, and I didn't really tell anyone because I don't think anyone would have understood the space and the mental space that I was in, and the reason why I said yes to doing this on a whim and just trusting that everything was going to work out. And boy, did it work out. You know, I found the most beautiful space to stay. It felt like the space was made for me. It was so beautiful in the middle of Mexico City, had plants all around. If I can find videos, I'll try to insert some here as I walk and talk. But it was so beautiful. Everything was just significantly more affordable for where I was in life. And I was just welcomed with loving arms. And I got lucky enough to stay with a host who really took the time to make sure I had everything I needed, made me feel really comfortable and safe in the space that I was in. And this is one thing I want to say before I get into why this actually works, why living abroad is one of the quickest ways to change your reality. But essentially, ever since I've been traveling solo, I've never felt safer. Personally, I am someone who believes that I'm always guided and protected. So, especially so when I travel overseas and abroad, I feel so much protection and peace. Case in point, I have my guides over here following me as I walk on this beautiful trail. There's two of them, but I don't know where my lady friend went. She might be all the way up there, but always guided, always protected. They quite literally follow me every time I leave everywhere I go within the property and within the vicinity. But I say all that to say I've never felt safer traveling alone. You just have to be very cognizant and very intentional about the way that you move. And obviously, not getting into things that would inevitably lead to something unfortunate happening. So I add that disclaimer here because I think that one of the first objections that people have when they are deciding whether or not they're going to follow their heart and travel abroad, whether it be solo or with a partner, whatever the case is their safety. And I'm here to tell you that with the right intentions and with knowing and trusting that you are divinely guided by Source and your higher self, there is no way that anything can happen to you. There's no way that anything can go wrong. If anything, like I said, I feel more safer when I'm not back in the States. But okay, so that's that. Now I want to get to why this actually works. Why moving and living abroad is quite literally one of the best ways to shift your reality. First and foremost, it forces you to learn resilience. It puts you in a state where you're unfamiliar. You may not even know the language. You don't know the people. You don't know the areas. But once you adjust and you make the conscious effort to acclimate and to begin living with the locals as the locals do, you'll start to see that you overcome many challenges. And this building resilience translates to so many parts in your life. It translates to starting that new business idea that you've been sitting on. It translates to going after that position that you've been contemplating. It translates to you taking trips across the world solo, meeting new people, creating new realities. All of this comes as a result of taking that leap of faith, especially if you've been called to do so. That's the first thing. Second thing that it does is it expands your world. It expands your universe. It shows you that there quite literally is a whole world out there waiting to be explored. And through doing this, it begins to open channels and avenues of thought and creativity and inspiration that you would have never dreamt of before. So that's the second thing. I can go so much deeper into that alone. Just the idea of what it means to be inspired when traveling abroad. It's such a beautiful thing. The third thing, you build lifelong connections with people and places and things that you may have never discovered, staying put where you are. I met a woman the other day when I was in my Uber on the way to the airport, and she had told me she had lived in Atlanta her entire life. And I just couldn't fathom that, because here I am on my way to the airport, probably getting ready to take the, 40th, 1000th trip out the country. And I just really felt for her. And she told me, she was like, you were the exact ride that I needed to end my day. I needed to sit with you and speak with you and see that it's possible. And, she had an extra layer of, resistance because she had a daughter, and she expressed to me that she was trying to figure out a way to move out of Georgia and potentially even out of the country for some time, but she didn't know how because she had her daughter. And I just expressed to her some experiences and people that I've been lucky enough to encounter that were able to not only move abroad, but do it with their family and do it successfully. And so all I wanted her to know was that it was possible, and that if she needed any support or any guidance, she knew exactly where to find me. So I just wanted to share this message with you all today to let you know that when you spread your wings and you answer that call, this doesn't only apply to traveling abroad or leaving the country. This applies to whatever has been heavy on your heart. Like I said, whether it's starting that business, making that phone call, buying that car, posting those videos, whatever it is, if your heart's been calling you to do it, this is your time. And specifically, if it has to do with moving abroad and living in a new place, this doesn't necessarily mean you have to completely renounce your residency and become a citizen of another country. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is tapping into this tool is quite literally one of the best ways to instantly shift your reality and become the person that you have always dreamt of being. So, with that being said, I am going to enjoy the rest of my walk. And if you have any questions on how you can begin to become a citizen of the world, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be more than happy to help you all out, because I truly believe that this has been the most significant part of my own healing journey. And I know that there are so many people out there, so many spiritual beings who are being called to do the same. Until next time, bye guys.